Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great evening. This is new for me. I've actually never done a screen recording. And through the graduate program, I actually have been really impressed with how some of the professors have done it. And so now here we are, get to do my own. I'm really looking forward to this semester and I'm excited to kind of look into something that I've always kind of questioned, especially in the past year. I think it's definitely work in progress. I'm not perfect, nor is my topic perfect or my questions perfect. So I really am looking forward to seeing your guys' feedback and definitely just hearing what you have to say. So let's get started. So a little bit about me and my background is that I have been in pretty much traditional media relations roles. I've worked with a lot of consumer brands, some B2B, but a lot have been consumer products. And so things that, an everyday person per se would use. And as I put in my paper, 5 years ago, social media, gosh, even more than 5 years ago, but Instagram really hit it hot when I was a freshman in college. And so we've seen this progression of social media and how impactful it is in the world of PR. And so as I've been interviewing for positions in the past, something that people and executives bring up is yes, we want traditional media relations. Yes, we want you to create those relationships with the news. But part of the component of this job is social media too. And so, I remember 2 years ago, I had a mentor say the press release is dead, and I was really shocked by that because I do feel that there's a time and place for a press release. I don't necessarily think it's dead, but I think we have to articulate our moves very wisely as PR practitioners for the fact that our scope is ever evolving and changing, which leads me to some of my research. And like I said, I know the professor had said that, some topics may change a little bit. And so again, I am so open to what everyone has to say, but it's just something that I thought, hey, I have this time, I have this semester, and this is something that I really want to look into. I kind of want to talk about the behavioral impacts on consumers through social media influencers. And I also, through the research, kind of want to not justify or rationalize, but understand, are our efforts as PR professionals, is it worth it? Is this the digital avenue that we need to go towards? I worked in an e-commerce company doing eyewear. I did media relations for eyewear companies, and they were so gung-ho on digital advertisement. Yes, that was great, and they did a lot of paid advertisement, um, like on Facebook and Instagram. But now, a lot of PR professionals, you'll see different brands on Instagram that are paying influencers to talk about it instead of doing your traditional scroll through or carousel ad. And especially as a woman, not neglecting the guys, but I follow a lot of influencers. And I do feel that sometimes, my behavior is, well, if this person likes it, I have to like it, or this person buys it, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, again, love feedback. So if you have any, shoot me your shot. So the reasoning, 80%, 81% of marketers reported that they use social media influencers to boost their marketing strategy in 2019. So given that information and that so many organizations are using influencers, how does this affect traditional PR? So again, like I was saying earlier, should we seek other digital avenues when it comes to consumer products? Should we take a different approach and put the money where our mouth is when it comes to influencers, or do we continue on a different path? Um, as some of you are women, or I'm not going to, gender I'm losing a word, and this is live, kind of. Stereotype. But I've noticed throughout the year now that social media influencers are beginning to create their career around what they promote, that now we're being so saturated with people talking about products every single day. And I don't want to throw out brands, but as a 27-year-old, I follow a lot of local indie influencers kind of all over the United States. A lot of them use, Tula skincare and gosh, random cookie brands. I mean, it's crazy. And it kind of made me think, what is inauthentic? What is authentic? And even recently, the news reported that, with this whole Corona thing, that 18 influencers were giving away a car. And that was totally against the guidelines and ethics that Instagram has for influencers. And so, um, what happens is they will say follow all 18 of us and then you'll get to be put into this drawing, and so you kind of lose this authenticity between a person and the engagement, and it gets really, really murky. So to the questions that I came up with, and again, love feedback, would love to hear from you. I probably will be reaching out to the professor to get some more information and feedback, but does a social media influencer make a difference on whether a consumer purchases a product? And how do consumers who follow social media influencers vet the content they follow, and do they understand how it affects their purchasing decision? Such as XYZ influencer posts this, so I'm more likely to purchase it because she said it, but she doesn't like it. And so, how is our behavior towards certain brands affected through what a social media influencer likes? Method. So I wanted to go for a focus group that was surrounded with women in between the ages of 20 and 45. So a little bit of background. The purchasing power of women in the US ranges from 5 trillion to 15 trillion annually. Crazy. Again, I don't want to stereotype women as the main purchasers in the house, but we do control more than 60% of personal wealth in the US, and we do purchase over 50% of traditional male products. Not to mention, there's a larger, of course, social media influencers and women are huge, and a lot of their followers are women too. So I'd be really interested to see, people around my age, younger, older, who they're following, what that looks like, how it affects their purchasing. Due to COVID-19, which is crazy, and I bet a lot of you can agree, this will be vetted through an online Zoom. Love Zoom. I think it's super effective, and it'd be really nice, of course, to be in person, but sometimes you have to go digital. So some example questions, and I cannot say this enough. Please give me your feedback. I love feedback. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Here's just some example questions that I came up with. How often are you on social media? What social media platform do you use the most? Do you follow social media influencers? How many times a day are you checking in on what they're doing? So I know that as Instagram has rolled out the stories, influencers are so much more active on stories than maybe just a single post. What is your attitude towards social media influencers? How do you vet which ones to follow? Do you engage with them? Do you feel that the content that they produce is authentic? Would you still purchase a product if you felt the content was inauthentic? How do you determine what to buy? Do you believe that influencers truly use the products they promote? And do you look at hashtags such as ad, sponsor, or partner when determining if you will purchase a product? For me, myself, and I can say that there are some influencers, one, that I have unfollowed personally because I feel they are inauthentic, and it's not someone that maybe necessarily I'd be buddy-buddy with, which is crazy because a lot of times people don't follow influencers to be buddy-buddy. Anyways, moving on. But I've also followed influencers, if I'm constantly seeing ads, sponsor, or partner. If I know that they're posting a pair of shoes for Steve Madden and it's an ad, I'm probably going to scroll by, not because I don't like the shoes. I may really like the shoes, but I'm also not going to support them if they're just doing it because they're a sponsor. So that's just coming from a 27-year-old, with little scrolling ability, but just to get on a broader scale of how individuals view social media marketing. Through that, I think it's super important to apply these findings to our profession as public relations professionals. If we're seeing, even though this is a small focus group, but if we're seeing that attitudes are being changed, behaviors are changing because of a certain influencer, that's important, and it kind of plays into a role of what is most effective and how can we reach consumers where they're at. Is that just through product reviews, and getting out some cash cow to an influencer to do an honest product review? Or is it really paying them to be a sponsor? Or are we just saying, you know what? We're going to continue to go after the people that are truly authentic, and those are the purchasers. So we're going to let our product speak for ourselves. So that's kind of where I'm at with this presentation. Again, would love to hear your feedback on what you think would be successful, what you don't. Are there questions that you think would be better to ask? Would love to hear it. Looking forward to diving into this with all of you and just going through this process. Signing off. Thanks, guys.